Well, if this is going to be my last show of the year, I think I'm going out with a really good show here. Hey, what's going on? It's the A-Game. I'm Rob Acampora from our studios here on the Jersey Shore. From overseas, I think it's the fourth time we've done this because I've had, let's see, Crispin Mills from Kula Shaker. We've had Miles Hunt from The Wonder Stuff. We have had Carol from Tapao. And now a man who was a part of the 80s culture, not only with his band Kajagoogoo and Too Shy, but we were just talking about this before we came on. The never-ending story of the never-ending story continues for a man here who has a Christmas song that is available and released a new song for the first time in many years, which I definitely look forward to talking about with my man Limahl, which, by the way, I got to say this. It took me 0 days to figure this out. I didn't even know this, and I usually am on top of stuff. So you came up with Limahl is just sort of this reworking of your last name.
Yeah, so my last name is Hamill, like Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker, like probably one of the most famous Hamills in the world.
Yes.
And I was kind of glad when he got famous because Hamill's kind of unusual. If I'd like call a company call center and they'd ask me to spell my name, I'd say Hamill as in Mark. And they would know. But yeah, I just thought I needed a stage name. I just thought that's what you needed to do.
Right.
You know? Everybody does it. So, I thought Sting was cool because that was just one word, you know. So I was a fan of ABBA.
Mm-hmm.
And I was reading they got their name by taking the first letter of the Christian name. So Anna,
right.
Bjorn, Agnet, Anna Frida, Agnetha, and then Anna Frida. So I'm looking at letters, and I took one of the L's, so it's double L at the end, put it at the beginning, and read it backwards, and it said Limahl. And I really liked that. I thought that rolls off the tongue. It's really unusual. It'll stand out from the crowd in a very competitive music business. And and I walked into, I was with Kajagoogoo at the time, and we were still unsigned. And we're writing songs and recording demos. And I said to the guys, don't call me Chris anymore. I'm Limahl, right? And there was this like deathly silence and some sniggering.
Of course.
Just like school, you know, it's like the school playground, basically. Yeah, they respected that, and it stuck. It worked. I'm so
basically, yeah. I mean, sometimes you get that, and it just doesn't gel. But from day one, when we found out about you, it really was, I would say, a talking point, without a doubt. And you guys were not afraid to be like, "Hey, we're going to use this. This works." And what I find fascinating too, and you said this in an interview recently, and I think is really poignant about what was going on with Too Shy. Quote, "Overnight sensation is far from the truth." And I think that's a lot of bands in general. And you probably understand this better than anybody, that when a band just comes out, what people think comes out of nowhere, they think, oh, that's this overnight sensation that Kajagoogoo suddenly just exploded. But the story for you guys to get there took a long time. It wasn't like it was something like, 3 days later, oh my God, we got a hit song. Holy crap.
Yeah, the media love that label, overnight sensation.
Right.
But I mean, for me, I was in theater for 3 years singing, and that's hard work, you know, 8 shows a week, 2 matinees, and no one likes singing in the afternoon.
Not easy sometimes when you're coming off the night before. That's true.
Well, you recover when you're younger, when you're that age. I was 20, 21, 22. And then that was an interesting time for me because I was in a show called Godspell, and to educate the younger listeners, Stephen Schwartz is the writer of Godspell and the current massive worldwide hit, of course, Wicked.
Mm-hmm.
But I was in Godspell, and there were in Godspell, that's where the blonde hair started, because the 6 guys in the show all looked exactly the same. And I went to the director and I said, all the guys look the same, you know, kind of in that voice. And I said, you know, I've always fancied going blonde and playing around with my hair. I was a little bit influenced by the punkish movement. So yeah, thankfully the director, Chris Dunham, gave me his blessing. I went off to a local salon, and thankfully I didn't come out orange.
That's true. As a matter of fact, Christian, excuse me, Ming, I believe we have one of those old photos. Post that up just to give everybody an idea from back in the 80s. Hit that thing, will you? There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that headline. Yeah. What does that say? What makes
Makes
Britain
Britain's
go gaga over?
Kajagoogoo, yeah.
um, so yeah, so I think basically we felt, I mean, if you think to the early 80s, there were such strong identities around with Annie Lennox from the Eurythmics and Boy George of Culture Club and
Oh my
Duran
gosh.
Duran,
Mhm.
Mark Almond of Soft Cell,
Yes.
Depeche Mode. They were all coming out in this era, and it was a wonderful era for images, and obviously the synthesizer sound was the new kid on the block.
Mhm.
And we just wanted to stand out from the crowd. So hence the name Limahl, hence the name Kajagoogoo, and hence the hair, really, know.
So you really tried to play it up. And with that, though, getting back to what we talk about this quote unquote overnight sensation, you still needed a little bit of a break. Every band needs a break. So I know you probably told the story a million times before, but how did Nick Rhodes of Duran Duran become such an influence in getting you guys that next level up, so to speak?
Well, there are other precedents of this. Gladys Knight famously introduced the Jackson 5 to Motown.
Right.
I think the TV show Andy Williams introduced the Osmonds to the world.
Yes, as a matter of fact, yes.
And there's a ton of other. I think Peter Gabriel introduced Kate Bush to EMI Records.
And we got to know Kate Bush more because of doing the song "Don't Give Up." Absolutely.
Yeah. So I was working in a nightclub in central London in a wonderful street called Old Bond Street, with tons of history.
Yeah.
And that was Princess Diana's favorite shopping street. It's such a cool street. If you ever come to London, you have to go down Old Bond Street.
I'll have to.
And even into New Bond Street too. The architecture is a bit newer, but it's still amazing vibe. But I'm working at this club, and it was very cool club. There were always paparazzi outside trying to get photos of the celebs that were going there.
Right.
And I've been working there for about a year. And I used to see Elton's manager in there, John Reed. I'd see the Bananarama girls in there. I'd see Gary Newman in there. I remember once there was a party for an American band that were having massive hit with a song called Car Wash. That was Rolls Royce.
Oh, yeah, from the 70s. Absolutely. Right around 76, if I remember correctly.
Yes. Yeah. And a brilliant record. And I've worked with Gwen Dickey, but that's another story. But one night I served a drink to Nick Rhodes, who was in there. Nick Rhodes, the keyboard player of Duran Duran, who was in there with their manager, one of their managers, Paul Barrow, very tall guy. Paul and Mike Barrow were the brothers who ran the nightclub in Birmingham, where they sort of got the Duran thing together, the Rum Runner nightclub.
Right.
So I'm chatting away and gushing about my band and gushing about Duran. I just bought their album, I was a big fan. And to my surprise, at the end of the conversation, he said, well, Limahl, send me a cassette with your songs and I'll check them out.
Sure.
And I really didn't know whether I'd hear from him. I didn't know whether he'd like the songs. I wasn't even sure if he'd get the cassette, because we didn't have that instant communication back then that we have now.
Right.
A week later, I was living in Lancaster Gate, West London at the time, near Hyde Park. We had a plastic red telephone on the wall with one of them really curly cables that was always tangled. You're getting the picture?
Yes.
And the phone rang and he goes, hi, Limahl, it's Nick Rhodes. I've listened to your songs. I really like them. I'm going to take them into EMI Records and tell them I want to produce you.
Nice. That's amazing.
I after the call, I picked myself off the floor.
Yeah, of course you had to. You're like, oh, did this really just happen? Oh my God.
Disbelief. And I called the band because I'd moved back to London. At first, I was living with the band in a little town called Leighton Buzzard, which is about 60 miles north of London.
Right.
So it was a train ride in and out. And I'm ringing the guys. And you know, the guys, they were like my family. I mean, I moved in with a bass player and his girlfriend, and we wrote songs for about a year and a half, and recorded demos and did some gigs and entered talent contests and blah blah blah. So it was, you know, it was important to share that news immediately, as you can imagine. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think that's the interesting part that some people don't realize is that this process took years, not days, not months. And to go through all this, you learn to appreciate it. It's like when Too Shy becomes the monster hit that it does. It's that, and as somebody in the media, I will say we have a tendency of making things like, oh, it's this overnight sensation that's come out of nowhere. It's like, oh, yeah, you want to take the road we took for the last 5 years? Come on, pal.
You know what's amazing? Too Shy was not on that demo cassette that I sent him.
That I did not know. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So you sent the demo cassette. He likes it. So how did Too Shy become well, obviously you weren't thinking that Too Shy, maybe, I'm guessing, was going to be the song that was going to be the thing that was going to launch the band.
You know what? We didn't really know until it was finished, because it's such an organic process, the whole sort of writing and producing.
Right.
You can do something in a recording at the last minute as an idea, and you go, OMG, it's coming. You know what I mean? I think that's what happened with Too Shy. It kind of became the obvious standout. Because I think everybody felt, we've got to come out really punching,
right,
you know, with something great. And I mean, I've heard, you know, stories in the business where people are fighting over decisions about which single, but there was everybody was in agreement. Too Shy really stood out.
Yeah. That when you get the synergy where it's like the band, the label, and everybody involved in it are all on the same page for this song, makes life a lot easier. There's no inner fighting. It was like, okay, let's just go. We're running. We got everything together.
And you know what our budget was for the Too Shy video back in 1982? Now, I don't know what the equivalent. I mean, because technology is so different, but it was £30,000.
Wow. Okay. So if you perturb that into the American money, it should be about 50K. You know what? That's not a cheap video when you think about it, because you now here in 2025, come to be 2026, people are doing budgets so much cheaper on these videos because it is a different generation, as you know, Limahl, because it's not like you're marketing to MTV. So you're not doing that. And that's the thing in the 80s. You knew you had to have an eye-catching video if MTV is going to gravitate to this, grab it, and make it into a hit.
I mean, all credit to EMI Records, which is now part of Warner.
Yes.
You know, they put their hands in their pocket and really push for the launch. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, you can have the best product in the world, but if nobody knows about it, nothing's going to happen.
It's very true.
You know, they got behind it. They spent the money on that video, and and thankfully,
yes,
the rest, as they say.
It's interesting to look at everything that's happened over the 40 plus years, because Too Shy is just one of those songs that will always continue to live on here in America on, we'll say, classic hits radio. It pops up a lot. But I think what I find the most interesting is that your other song, The Never Ending Story, the song that just does not want to go away, which I think is a great thing about it. On some levels, it's actually become bigger than Too Shy, which is wild to say, because when you look at Stranger Things and the impact that series in season 3 had on the song, where all of a sudden the YouTube videos, and I'll say it that way because there was like 2 different videos that were released. When you add it all up, all of a sudden, here's The Never Ending Story approaching 100 million views. I mean, that's a staggering number. I mean, you're in the category of mega hits with that. I mean, when you digest that for a second, and I'm sure there are other numbers that you have digested over the last few years about all this, is it still that I can't get my head around it almost. Like, I can't believe this phenomenon just continues to keep going and going and going.
Yeah, what I'm loving is the first time around in '84, and I was in America doing 2 cities a day promoting the track.
Okay.
So I was with the EMI promotions guy, and it was really hectic because, it's such a big country compared to the UK.
Sure.
And, it was a hotel, it was a flight, radio station, journalists, hotel, back to the airport, next city, and just did that for 6 weeks.
That's a lot.
And when the single only got to, I think it was 16 in America,
Mm-hmm.
that seemed disappointing to me. I mean, really looking back, top 20 is not bad, but when the track had been number one in the rest of the world, in 17 countries or so, I felt a bit disappointed. So this is almost like a second coming. It's wonderful.
Right.
I'm loving it because obviously the perspective for me is so different. I'm a little bit older.
I was about to say, I mean, here's the obvious thing when you look at Limahl right now. He recorded Too Shy when he was 14. Let's be honest. Now, look, you look amazing. And I know you got a birthday coming up, which is also an interesting part of your equation. But it's like, if somebody were to look at him and I'm like, going, yeah, this man is in his mid 60s, and I'm like, going, no. Just your look in general. I'm like, I don't know how you do it, but bottle it, sell it, because I'm telling you, you make millions doing that.
Shopping channels, here I come.
Yes.
Limahl moisturizer.
You don't ring to it. Yes, that's right. You could look 20 years younger.
Don't be too shy to use that cream.
Oh! I walked right into that. Thank you.
You could have never-ending beauty.
Yes. Stop. I love it. To get back to Never Ending Story, there's two facts that I found out that I thought were interesting. And one of them, did you almost miss out on the opportunity to do Never Ending Story?
So there's two very important facts there. First of all, when I arrived in Munich, I flew to Munich to try my voice. Giorgio Moroder, the legendary
producer.
And I'd met him about 2 months earlier at the Tokyo Music Festival. He happened to be there. EMI had sent me there with my first solo single, a track called Only for Love, which was sort of about 500,000 and was quite a big hit across Europe.
Right.
So I'm in Japan at the Tokyo Music Festival at the Budokan Hall, beautiful hall. It's a massive event. Legends have obviously performed there. And my manager was a chap called Billy Gaff, who'd been through some of the biggest years with Rod Stewart, including the Maggie May years. And Billy was a feisty entrepreneur, and he went to dinner with Giorgio.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't there, but I know Billy. He would have told Giorgio in no uncertain style that Limahl is going to be the best thing since sliced bread. And that obviously, that was part of it, I think. Then I got the call about 6 weeks later to try my voice, flew to Munich. The night before, this is the bad bit, excuse me. The night before I was partying, I was 23, I was out drinking late, smoking cigarettes.
We're young, we do that stuff. Come on now.
We do that stuff. I had about 4 hours sleep, almost missed the flight. Arrived in Munich where Giorgio had a studio and had recorded all those great songs with Donna Summer, like, of course, I Feel Love. And I couldn't really sing a note.
No.
The voice is going,
Yeah, just what you needed. The pivotal moment, and it's like your brain is going, come on, voice, come on. I know you can do this. Come on.
So Giorgio was very cool. I sang a little bit, but it's quite high, the song. And it's sustained high as well in the verses. So I said to him, listen, I'll be fine. We'll just do it this evening. And he said, hey, Lim. He used to call me Lim. Mm-hmm. He goes, hey, he's Italian. Hey, Lim, don't worry. We have some wine, a little food, and we chill out. We chill out. So yeah. And then about 8 o'clock in the evening, I sort of nailed it. And I had no idea how he felt about it. I flew home the next day. And 2 days later, I got the call from my manager saying he likes it, he's going to use it. All right, so that's the first part of your question answered, Rob.
Right.
Second part is EMI record say, nah, they're not interested in signing it. Because it was an outside project, wasn't necessarily a Limahl record. It was a bluesy, blah blah blah. So I'm in my manager's office on Kings Road in Chelsea, Reva Music, and Billy is on the phone to the CEO of EMI Records, a guy called Peter Jameson, and he's swearing at the CEO, and he's going, "It's strong Irish accent. I'll try it." He's going, "Don't you fucking tell me this song's not a hit. This fucking song is a hit. If ever there was one, and I will personally fly you to fucking Germany and buy your ticket." Blah blah blah. And I'm behind him thinking, I'm 23 years on, and I'm thinking, oh my God, the record company are going to drop me.
Yeah, it's like, my career's over. Oh, shoot.
So that's what happened. He flew to Germany with Peter Jameson. And after they saw the film, or the rough cuts of the film, they agreed to sign it.
Wow. And
then everything changed, of course.
Of course. And then the second life comes. So here comes Stranger Things. And this is the second part of my question. From what I've been able to find out, it's not like you knew where it was going to be used in Stranger Things. You just knew that they were going to use the song. So it was your nephews that kind of told you about the scene that it was popping up in.
So my two nephews are watching Stranger Things. I am not. I wasn't aware of it, even though I know I should have been. But you know what? That was season 3. I think you'll agree. There's so much choice these days. People say to you, are you watching so and so on Apple? Are you watching so and so on Prime? Are you watching so and so on Sky? I mean, it's just crazy. There's not enough hours in the day to watch everything.
Right.
So I wasn't watching it, and my nephews WhatsApp me, and they call me Uncle C for Chris, my real name, Uncle C. And they go, or UC, just the letters. UC, OMG, they're using your song in Stranger Things. Oh, and then he sends me a clip. He's recorded it on his phone. So I thought, oh, that's quite good. Having no idea of the impact that it was going to have.
Sure, you're not sure what's going on here. We're going back to like 2019 for season 3.
Yeah.
Knowing that, okay, the show's popular, but you're not understanding the phenomenon that is about to break with all this. And then you start to see it just through the views on YouTube, whatever's happening on Spotify and everything else. And it's like, what? For lack of
on Spotify, the streaming numbers went up from 300,000 a month to 2 million.
That's just incredible.
And it's maintained that because I think as the series is watched around the world,
right?
I don't know if it's delayed in certain countries, but I do see spikes, and I sometimes get email reports, there's a lot of activity in Argentina or the Far East or whatever it is. So, it's the gift that keeps on giving. I mean, for me as an artist, it keeps the phone ringing. It keeps the offers to perform live. And that's one of the reasons I look after myself, because I think, well, if I'm going to go out there, I mean, Mick Jagger's the same. He's Mr. Rock and Roll and all the rest of it. But actually behind the scenes, he's keeping fit. And he's doing his exercise and nutrition and rest. You can get away with a lot of stuff when you're young. But as you know, when you get older, after 45, 50, you have to start listening to your body a bit more, respecting it a bit more, to be a bit kinder to it.
I will defend that immensely, Limahl. I mean, in my 50s, recently lost 80 pounds and realized that if you don't take care of yourself properly, the body has a way of reacting back and going, I'm sorry, you're not going to be able to do that anymore unless you do this, 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 and this. So, yeah, I defend that 1,000% what you just said, without a doubt.
Absolutely. So as long as I'm healthy and the voice is still working, which it is.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
I'll go out, and because I'm doing what I set out to do in life. From being a kid of 10 years old, strangely, I wanted to sing.
And here's the thing that I think is great. You're finding ways of using your voice now, which is, I think, dramatically different from what you were doing in the 80s, which I think is great because you don't want to do the same thing over and over again, because you recorded something that was recorded and released over the summer. of all songs to release a Horse with No Name doing the America cover, giving it a groove and giving it this modern take, which I wish I could play, but we can't because of copyright. But we will play the Christmas song that you have very shortly, which I know we can do. But when it comes to covering a song, being in radio for 30 years, there's two chains of thoughts. One, you got to do it as good as the original, or you put your own spin on it and make it your own. You did that successfully. And I think if you go get the song, you're going to find the groove's addicting and Limahl's voice is still incredibly doing well. And that's got to feel good for you where you sit there, we talk about fitness and we talk about the aging process. Sometimes the aging process takes the voice away. It has not done that for you. So bravo for that.
I stopped smoking about 25 years ago. I
Bravo.
wasn't a heavy smoker.
Right.
You know, I was a social smoker. So I'd go out in the evening and I'd, you know, maybe have 4, 5, 6, 7. But I always felt guilty because I thought this is not right, because this is where you get your fuel for your body, you know.
Right.
And I think I probably got a really bad case of the flu with a cough. And I just thought, right, okay, that's it, you know. And let's be kind to the body. And I think that was one of the best things I did. I've never been a big drinker. I worked in nightclubs, as I said earlier.
Yes.
And I used to see the mess at 3 a.m. You know, the vomiting, the fight.
Yes.
And I used to think, wow, you spent all that money and this is what happens. I don't know. So I'll have a glass of wine, love a cocktail because I've got a sweet tooth.
Sure.
A glass of champagne is nice if somebody else is buying.
Oh, of course. You're buying? Well, please bring one here. Thank you.
But yeah, I've never been a big drinker. My dad was a big drinker, and he turned into a bully. It was really not pleasant. So that put me off as well. But you know, I found myself in certain situations where there's been drugs, you know, and I tried a few things and didn't do it for me, thank God.
Right. And I would imagine for you, the idea of just doing music, there's no better high than being out on a stage, being able to perform in one way, shape, or another, whether it's doing music, doing a play, whatever the case may be, and I understand that with certain artists, sometimes they're trying to find a replacement for that. And you kind of just realize it's like, no, nothing's going to top what I do as far as that rush.
Last December, I went to see Paul McCartney at the O2 Arena in London. It was about 22,000 people. Yeah. So, you know, the legend, the Beatle legend, Paul McCartney, I'm expecting this massive opening.
Right.
You know? What happens is he just walked out and he stood there. He sort of kind of shocked the audience as if to say, here I am, guys. You know, he just stood there and there was this audible sort of silence and then a huge cheer. And that's, I kind of relate to that. I thought, he's soaking that up.
Right.
You know, he's soaking that up. And when I walk out in front, obviously smaller audiences, but I know that feeling. I mean, whether it's 50 people or 500 or 5,000,
right,
and people are smiling and they're filming you and people are, I mean, nostalgia is a really powerful emotion, you know.
Very much so, yeah.
Yeah, people have memories with Too Shy. It might be the first record they bought. With Never Ending Story, the same. It might be the first dance at a wedding. It might be a first love. And the new artists won't be able to have this for a long time. Nostalgia takes time as value to arrive.
That's very, very true. That's very, very well put, my friend. Limahl here on the A Game. I do got to recognize the Christmas tree in the back. It is the holiday season. He's got a song that he recorded a few years ago that's being re-released. It is now out there. Give us a setup because I'm going to play the song in just a minute. What made you decide to do a holiday song when you recorded it a few years ago?
It wasn't in the plan. I met the pianist and singer at the Savoy Hotel in London, John Nicol, and he plays the Great American Songbook, and I love that style.
Mm-hmm.
He happened to live around the corner from me in North London, and we got together one June afternoon.
Yeah.
It was warm and sunny, and we just playing around, just jamming around. And I said to him very flippantly, I've always fancied writing a Christmas song.
Right.
And then we both laughed and we agreed it just can't be done. Everybody has sung about sleigh bells and snowmen
And Santa Claus and so on and so on.
etc.
Yeah.
But we found a way in, and that, that kind of, when we found the sort of angle, as in a couple are on a city break for Christmas, that kind of encouraged us to move forward, searching for a melody. Again, very difficult.
Yeah, definitely
not easy. But and I've got the recordings of us jamming around and then going, oh, that bit's quite nice. So maybe one day I'll be able to share those and they'll be more valuable. But the other thing about this Christmas song is, I grew up, the Andy Williams TV show was massive in the UK when I was a child, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. And that's always kind of stayed with me. I love Andy Williams. He's my favorite crooner from that era, really. And what I like about my Christmas track is it kind of introduces a slightly different register of my voice to Too Shy, Never Ending Story. Because with Too Shy, Never Ending Story, I'm singing F sharp, G. And a lot of the verses in the Christmas track are in a lower register. And that's quite nice to sort of say, hey, this is a different side of me.
Yeah. And that's exactly what I got off of it when I listened to it, is that, wow, here's this other side. And then it made me want to go further into your Instagram. And I, by the way, follow him on Instagram. Find his version of Tony Bennett doing Left My Heart in San Francisco. It will blow you away. So, I mean, it really shows this side of you that is just, you really embrace that in such a level that is loving and is very appealing to the ear, without a doubt.
Yeah. Do you remember that duet, that kind of weird duet with David Bowie and Bing Crosby?
Yes, Little Drummer Boy and Peace on Earth.
So I could have done that with Andy if he'd still been around. I would have enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's definitely something to think about. Okay, let's fire this up so everybody gets a feel for it. And if you like it, you can download it and purchase it at where you download your music. This is the Christmas song from Limahl. It's here on the A Game. Check it out.
The Christmas tree will be beautiful in Trafalgar Square. We'll do Selfridges for shopping, then cocktails in Mayfair. And you'll be looking pretty through my camera lens as we hear the chimes of Big Ben from our boat trip on the Thames. One wish for Christmas, gotta be with you. One wish for Christmas, baby, just us two. December is that time of year when memories become souvenirs. One wish for Christmas with you. The weatherman says we are in for lots of snow. Take a taxi from our hotel to catch that West End show. And later on, a midnight spin on the London Eye. Then let's stay awake till the morning, watch the stars fall from the sky. One wish for Christmas, gotta be with you. One wish for Christmas, baby, just us two. December is that time of year when memories become souvenirs. One wish for Christmas with you. Oh, baby, me and you. My suitcase packed at Christmas time. December is that time of year when memories become souvenirs. December, just forget your fears and cherish those we hold so dear. One wish for Christmas, one wish for Christmas, one wish for Christmas.
This is where I can use the Bing Crosby line. It's a pretty thing, ain't it? One Wish for Christmas from Limahl here on the A Game. Go purchase that where you buy your music and check out his cover of A Horse with No Name. It is well worth the effort. I knew you're on a tight schedule, so I'm going to get ready to wrap up here with a couple things because we are talking about Christmas. Normally, I do a segment called Random Shots where the questions come from anywhere. So in an abridged version, I got to start with this. Your favorite Christmas movie?
Oh, I think I'm going to go for The Holiday with, with Jude Law and the rest of the gang. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I just love. In fact, it was on TV the other night, and I had it on in the background, and I just had to put the sound on, and then suddenly I wasn't working. I was watching the film.
You notice that anytime it comes on, it's more like, I don't care what I'm doing. Like, get it up there. Oh, Jack Black's on. I know this scene. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's so lovely, that film. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's you're definitely very festive, and obviously all that emotion came out in the song, which I think is great. So you really did stumble upon something really beautiful. Congratulations for that.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Chances of touring in 2026. I know you don't do as much touring as you did in the past. I mean, I've seen you've done some of these package tours a few years ago. Where do you see yourself for the upcoming new year?
So I'm doing a live band show south of the UK in January. In May, I'm going to Iceland for the first time.
Congrats.
Again, they're usually part of a much bigger event with a lot of other artists.
Yes.
And then in May, I'm in Vienna in Austria.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Again, it'll be a big event. And then in June, I'm at a smaller event. July, excuse me, in the Spanish island Tenerife.
You do some nice traveling. I'll give you that.
Yeah, that's the thing about my job, if I can call it that. I never quite know from year to year where I'm going to go. I still find that quite interesting. I love to see the world.
Right.
And what I do now, because things are not quite so hectic, I'll stay on a couple of days and have a snoop around as a tourist. All I need to do is put on a beanie hat and no one really recognizes me. unless One Wish for Christmas or A Horse with No Name or something changes that.
You never know. I mean, again, I could see that being a club hit. I could definitely see A Horse with No Name if it gets it. And I say this to my brethren in radio, give it a chance, especially both songs deserve an opportunity. And I think, unfortunately, as somebody who's been in the business long enough can say, it seems like you get older, you get forgotten about, and they don't think, oh, you're too old to put out a hit song. That's BS, for God's sake. Good music is good music. Just give it a chance.
That's one of my goals, really, to prove to the four conglomerates that control the music industry, which is Sony, Warner, BMG, and Universal, who wouldn't dream of signing someone of my heritage, let's say.
Let's say, yes.
Let's say. So I want to prove to them and the world that, in a way, that you can have success and kind of, in a way, stick my fingers up to them. You got
a fan on this end, so whatever I can do to help, I will. That is for sure. And one last thing, an American tour. Would you consider doing that if you could get enough dates? I could see you enjoying New York and a little bit of California if you could put it all together.
Yeah, I mean, the great thing about coming to America is whatever I want to talk about on stage in front of an audience, they understand.
Yes.
It's difficult across Europe. There's so many languages.
Right.
So when you go somewhere where English is the first language, then that's a plus, immediate plus.
Absolutely.
So I love America. I lived in LA for 8 months and enjoyed the earthquake while I was there. I've stayed in Manhattan quite a few times, and that city is just electric, And I still love the theatre because I started in it, So
Yeah.
I'll be like into the magazines or online probably looking what's the latest show to see. Doesn't have to be Broadway. It's often off Broadway.
Yes.
Is the up and coming stuff can be really edgy and exciting.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's one advantage of living where I am. Like just an hour outside of Broadway, you try to take advantage of it any way you can, without a doubt.
Yeah.
To wrap up, Ming, can we get a couple of photos up here? They're 2 and 3. That one. So as we remind everybody, A Horse with No Name now available for download. That is his cover of the America song. And this, of course, is the holiday song, One Wish for Christmas. Both are now available. Both should be in your collection. So please do that and make both of us happy, because we spent some time together and I wanted to pay off for the man. Limahl, if I had more time and you had more time, we would have taken more advantage. But I love where we went here. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thanks, guys. And I hope to see you on U.S. soil.
Yes.
ASAP.
ASAP. I know your publicist. I'll hold it against him if I don't get in on the show when you're here in the United States, especially New York. With that,
absolutely. Enjoyed it. Thanks so much. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. We'll see you in 2026. This is the A Game. I'm Rob Acampora. You take care of yourself and enjoy.